Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming SCS exams happening in February 2025. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for SCS at TCS. So let's look at the session outcomes. First things first, I'm going to highlight what you need to get right with regards to Preseen application, because at this level, you need to have a great level of understanding about what appears within your Preseen, because you are playing the role of senior finance manager. You are directly reporting to board members, so you need to adopt something called an outside-in approach when it comes to decision making. I highlighted this in the first webinar as well. So as the SFM, since you are supposed to have or adopt an outside-in approach, you need to have a good level of understanding of what appears within the Preseen in terms of your internal dynamics and external dynamics. And when developing your answers, you need to always make sure that your answers are totally aligned with what the company is up to. And you need to figure out whether your recommendations or your suggestions are going to, how your suggestions and recommendations are going to impact your chosen industry. So that's the first part. And in the second part, I will be conducting an industry analysis based on our industry analysis slides, which we have developed at TCS. And in the final part, I will be taking you through the internal dynamics of your chosen company, thereby conducting a Preseen analysis. There are three Preseen analysis sessions in total, which appear under the paid content, but I can't, take you through all three elements. Instead, I'm simply going to direct your attention towards one single part out of the three sessions which we have conducted. All three sessions can be accessed via the paid content via our student dashboard. All right, so let me quickly remind you of the upcoming webinars and workshops which we have scheduled for you. And these webinars and workshops are happening every weekend. So this is the best way to keep tabs about your performance. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can get them answered at each of these webinars and workshops. So the third webinar, which is the most important webinar of our webinar series, Answering Technique, is happening next Saturday at 10 GMT at the same time. So in this webinar, I will be teaching you answering and time management techniques. After teaching you these two elements, I will also take you through one of the mock exams which we have developed, thereby taking you through its answer with the intention of showing to you how to implement these techniques in a practical sense. So it's essential that you learn these techniques. If not, you will run out of time at your real exam, and at the same time, you will not be in a position to come up with well-structured answers. So the best way to develop high-quality answers is to learn these two techniques. So make sure to attend this webinar, which is happening next Saturday at the same time, in which I'm going to teach you answering and time management technique. And the fourth webinar, exam prep, is again happening this on a Saturday, the Saturday after the next. So in this fourth webinar, I'm going to take you through examiner's comments to make sure that you understand what the examiner expects from you. And at the same webinar, I will be sharing some tips with you to make sure that you gain a higher level of confidence. And I will also highlight shortcomings, or what you need to do to rebound from failures. So by the time we are conducting the fourth webinar, you should receive your SCS results. And in this webinar, I will highlight what you need to do to overcome your failures. And also, I will teach you stress management techniques, which are crucial, which are crucial for you when it comes to conducting your preparations. And it's of utmost importance that you manage your stress levels at your real examination as well. So all these things are covered in the fourth webinar. And once we are done with the webinar series, we are kickstarting the workshop series. And in each workshop, I will be taking you through a question taken from our mock exams, as well as its answer, thereby explaining how each syllabus element is tested at your exam and what you need to do when it comes to structuring your answers in a successful manner. So in each of these workshops, I will be conducting a Q&A session as well, because as per our study plan, when you're attending these workshops, you should be done with one or two mock exams. So definitely you will have questions, and I'm always ready to answer all your questions and concerns. And the final workshop, which happens 2 or 3 days before your exam, I will be sharing last minute tips with you to make sure that you walk into the exam with a positive mindset. So make use of these free resources on offer. Get in touch with us on a weekly basis. This is the best way to keep track of your performance each and every week. All right, so let's try to figure out how you should approach Preseen application. What is the right approach when it comes to bringing in relevant information from the Preseen? So before you think about including Preseen info in your answers, first things first, you need to know your key information, such as the fact that Rotomyne operates 9 mines spread across 6 countries. So likewise, you need to gain a good understanding of what appears within your Preseen, the most important points about your company, about your industry, about what appears within your financial statements. So you need to know your key information, and the best way to gain a good understanding of the key information which appears within your Preseen is to get your hands on our annotated Preseen, because as you can see, we have come up with tutor annotations, and one of the objectives of coming up with these annotations is to summarize the entire Preseen, which makes your life easy when it comes to understanding what appears within your Preseen document. And on top of that, as part of these annotations, we have also highlighted probable exam scenarios which can be tested based on the hints shared by the CIMA examiner via the Preseen document. And linked to these probable exam scenarios, we have also highlighted the probable syllabus elements which can be tested. So once you have access to this Preseen document, you will gain a good understanding about the key information which appears within your Preseen. Also, we have already shared this document with students who sat for the exams which happened in November 2024. After this webinar, I will also share this document via the WhatsApp group, and this is the Preseen mind map which we have developed for your Preseen document. So once you have access to this Preseen mind map, it makes your life easy when it comes to memorizing the most important points which are highlighted within your Preseen document. So your Preseen document is divided into these main elements. So I've indicated information about what happens within your industry, the different extraction methods utilized by players within this industry, what you should consider with regards to lithium pricing, and what your company is up to, Rotomyne, its mission, vision, and values, and how we conduct our manufacturing and sales operations, what we do in terms of research and training. I've also highlighted about the governance procedures adopted by our company, and there are 6 different risks, and aligned to each of these risks, there are mitigatory action which appears within the risk report of Rotomyne, and I've highlighted all the information in a summarized manner as per what appears within your risk report. And at the very end, I've also indicated about the financial performance, thereby focused on a ratio analysis which we have conducted. So once you have access to this document, it makes your life easy. Simply go through this document each and every day with the intention of making sure that you gain a clear understanding of what appears within your Preseen, and at the same time making sure that you remember the most important points which are highlighted within this document. So this point is covered via our Preseen, via our annotated Preseen and the Preseen mind map. And also, since you're playing the role of a senior finance manager, you have to have a good understanding about the numbers which appear within your financial statements, not just your company's financial statements. Your closest competitors' financial statements appear within your Preseen document. So you need to know where you stand as a company, what we are up to, whether there are any issues pertaining to financials of your chosen company. So you need to be conversant about the key ratios. Again, you need not worry. You need not conduct your own evaluations, because we have done it for you, because we have developed a set of financial analysis slides. And in each slide, we have evaluated the financial statements which appear towards the very end of your towards the very end of your Preseen document. And we have come up with evaluations, and we have made sure to keep things simple so that you can easily understand what appears within each financial statement. So we have evaluated the SOPL, the SOFP, as well as the statement of changes in equity. And at the very end, we have conducted a ratio analysis. And again, we have evaluated each ratio in depth, yet making sure to keep things simple so that you gain a good understanding about the financial standing of your company. We have also considered the financial standing of our closest competitor and compared our performance, our financial performance against the financial performance of our closest competitor, so that you gain a good understanding of where we stand as a company. And also you'd gain an understanding of any issues, financial issues, which we might face by looking at the numbers which appear within our financial statements. So the second part is covered as well. You need not do your own calculations. We have done it for you. And when conducting your preparations, you have to prepare for possible scenarios because, as I mentioned earlier, within your Preseen document, the CIMA examiner shares some hints about what can be tested, especially when you look at the newspaper articles which appear within the last 5 or 6 pages of your Preseen document. The examiner is giving you certain hints about the type of scenarios which can be tested at your real exam. However, you should be open-minded. So when developing our mock exams, we have totally relied on the hints provided by the CIMA examiner via your Preseen document. So when you do our 6 mock exams, you'd gain a better understanding of the type of scenarios which can be tested at your exam. However, you need to be open-minded. Why is this the case? Because as I've mentioned in the first webinar, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real-life corporate environment. So in a real-life corporate environment, you are playing the role of a senior finance manager. It's as if you are walking into office and checking your email. And when responding to an email, can you predict, unless and otherwise you read through the email, can you predict the type of issues the company is going to face in the future? Or can you predict the type of opportunities the company is trying to exploit in the future? You can't do that. So in a real life corporate environment, you cannot predict anything. So when developing your responses, when conducting your evaluations, when recommending something, you have to consider what is presented in the scenario. And at the same time, you need to think about whether your recommendations are aligned with what the company is doing at the moment and what happens within your chosen industry. So to come up with the best type of evaluations and the best type of recommendations, you have to have an open mind. At this stage, this is a highly practical examination. Compared to the OCS exam, SCS is highly practical. So because of that, you cannot pass this exam simply by trying to memorize answers. Instead, when attempting mock exams and conducting your revision focused on the weekly mock exam, your objective should be to understand the logic behind each answer rather than trying to memorize the answer. So don't try to memorize anything. By going through our mock exams and referring to our study resources, you'd gain a good understanding of what type of scenarios will be thrown at you at your real exam. However, when conducting preparations, your objective should be to understand the logic behind each answer, understand the logic behind each mock exam which we have developed. You should not try and memorize answers. And remember that the scenario presented in the exam carries the latest information. So via the Preseen document, the examiner gives you information about what has happened within the industry in the past, what has happened within your company in the past, and via the financial statements, again, the examiner gives you a picture of what has happened within the company in a financial sense in the past. However, at your exam, present information or current information will be shared with you. So when developing your answers, you need to always consider the current information which appears within the scenario, and at the same time make sure that your suggestions or your evaluations are totally aligned with what appears within your Preseen document. So you should not memorize anything. You should always focus your attention towards creating a high level of open-mindedness, and the best way to do so is to understand the logic behind each and every question and answer which we have developed for your case study. And when developing your answers with the intention of adding value to your answers, you are supposed to bring in relevant Preseen information. So you are supposed to refer or cite Preseen information in such a way that it adds value to your answer. I've seen when marking answer scripts, I've encountered students who are trying to bring in too much pre-seen information, which is actually not relevant. For instance, I've seen students, starting their answer in the first paragraph itself. Most students tend to stipulate the fact that Rotomyne is into mining lithium. So, as I mentioned earlier, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So, it's as if you are reporting to your boss. So, when you are reporting to your boss, will you ever remind your boss that we are into mining lithium? You won't, because the boss already knows what we are up to. So, there's absolutely no point of mentioning the fact that we are operating within several different countries. We are operating 9 different mines. All these information, the board members are already conversant with this type of information. So whenever bringing pre-seen information, rather than simply bringing in generic information, if you do so, you'd end up losing marks, because if you are trying to do something like it, it's unprofessional. So rather than bringing in generic pre-seen information, you need to always think, okay, if I'm to bring pre-seen information and include it within my answer, how would it add value to my answer? So let me quickly show you how you're supposed to do this. So I'm directing your attention towards the answer plan, which we have developed for our first mock exam, which is the free mock exam. As you can see, I've mentioned about our current beta, which is 1.63 as per our pre-seen document. And based on it, I've conducted an evaluation. So throughout this entire answer, which carries 15 marks, I've only stipulated about the beta. Other than that, I've not mentioned about anything else which is taken from the pre-seen. So there's absolutely no point of bringing in generic information and including it within your answer. Instead, whenever the need arises, you need to bring in information from the pre-seen. Unless and otherwise, there's no point of bringing in general information. So let me quickly take you to section number 3 as well. Yeah, in section number 3, this is a question to do with funding options. You are supposed to evaluate whether we are supposed to go for debt or equity, and long-term funding as well as short-term funding related knowledge is tested in this exam. So as you can see, when opting for loans, we have to think about the gearing ratio. So I've mentioned the pre-investment gearing, which is 51% as per what appears within your pre-seen. So I've brought in information from the pre-seen with the intention of adding value to my answer, with the intention of carrying a foolproof evaluation. And on top of that, I've also mentioned the fact that our current non-current liabilities are lower than our property, plant, and equipment. And based on it, I've conducted an evaluation. So in this question, which carries 25 marks, I've only referred to pre-seen information twice. And in section number 2, I have not mentioned anything which appears within the pre-seen document, unless and otherwise it is aligned with the requirement, unless and otherwise this pre-seen information adds value to my answer. So that's exactly how we are supposed to deal with referring to pre-seen info. You are supposed to show your examiner that you understand the pre-seen material, thereby developing relevant answers without making it obvious that you are trying to prove that you have gone through the pre-seen document. So in order to gain a better understanding of how to do these things in a practical sense, attend our next week's webinar, in which I'm going to teach you an answering technique, and part of it, as part of it, I will teach you how to get this thing right. And you can also learn how to do this in a successful manner by referring to the suggested answers and answer plans of all 6 mock exams which we have developed. And you can also learn this easily by watching our master classes, 15 master classes in total. All right. And how should you approach your E3, F3, and P3 syllabi? So as I mentioned earlier, this is a highly practical examination. So your application skills are heavily tested. However, you need to know all your theoretical elements, because if there's a question about stakeholder management, for instance, you can come up with your own answer using your own logic. However, it's best to utilize the Mendelov matrix, because if you do so, you will come up with a foolproof evaluation. So if there's a question to do with evaluating funding options, you need to utilize your knowledge which you have gained via your F3 syllabus, thereby you have to consider certain elements when opting for debt or when opting for equity. And if you look at another question, if there's a question about evaluating strategic options, rather than talking about the pros and cons of a certain strategic initiative, it's best that you utilize the SAF framework. So likewise, although you can come up with your own answers, as long as your answers are logical, you will get marks. With the intention of ensuring that you come up with a foolproof answer, you conduct evaluations which are of the highest quality. You need to utilize your knowledge which you have gained via your E3, F3, and P3 syllabi. So if you're planning to skip learning theory, then all the best to you. You won't be in a position to gain good marks at your examination, although most of the questions are testing your application skills. So for instance, I took you through the answer plan. In it, I've when evaluating debt, I've spoken about the gearing ratio, and on top of that, I spoke about the non-current liabilities against the property, plant, and equipment. So you need to consider these type of elements to come up with the best type of evaluations. So prepare for application of theories and concepts. You have to be conversant with how each syllabus element is tested at your exam. That's exactly why we have developed 6 mock exams, to make sure that you are aware of how each syllabus element can be utilized when developing your answers, with the intention of coming up with the best type of answers. And with regards to numbers, you are supposed to prepare for interpretation of figures and numbers. So you are not supposed to do major calculations at this examination. All facts and figures will be actually shared with you via the scenarios or via the reference material. However, you might have to do simple calculations, such as you might have to rework a gearing ratio considering the fresh information which appears within your scenario. Other than that, you need not do major calculations. And when conducting preparations, as I mentioned earlier, you are not supposed to skip any topic, because any syllabus element can be tested at the exam. When I'm taking you through examiner's comments in next week's webinar, you will understand, not next week's, week after's webinar, you'd understand how crucial it is to go through all syllabus content to be in a position to pass this examination comfortably. And do not rely on predictions, as any area can be examined. So I've seen actually tutors predicting the type of questions which can be tested at the exam, the type of scenarios which can be tested at the exam. You're not supposed to rely on predictions, because as I mentioned earlier, in a real life corporate environment, when you're working at office, will you be in a position to predict what the company is going to face in the future? No, that is not the case. If you are to be successful, you have to deal with the information at hand and try and come up with the best type of evaluations or recommendations. So don't rely on predictions. Simply focus your attention towards improving your skill set when attempting each mock exam, when conducting your revision. Always focus your attention towards improving yourself, improving your skill set. If so, you will be highly successful at this examination. All right. So having said that, let's move on to the industry analysis. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to conduct the industry analysis based on the industry analysis slides which we have prepared for you. However, before I move on to this, take you through this set of slides, let me quickly take you to the Preseen document. I want to direct your attention towards what happens within this industry, because the Preseen gives you a clearer picture of the technicalities behind the mining activity. So I'm going to take you through these elements first, then I will move on to our industry analysis slides. All right, so as you know, this time's Preseen is based on a company which is known as Rotomyne, and this company is into mining lithium. So we are dealing with a company which is into mining lithium, and the lithium which we mine are sold to businesses as well as different types of customers and clients. And mostly our lithium are used by our clients to manufacture batteries. And the demand for lithium is mainly driven by the battery manufacturing industry. So there's a huge demand for lithium ion batteries, especially within the electric vehicle market, EV market, as well as lithium is used in consumer electronics as well. So the demand for these batteries, lithium batteries, are driving demand for the lithium which we extract and process. And lithium is high in demand because it has the capability of storing a high amount of energy in an extremely small space. And also, manufacturers utilize lithium to manufacture heat-resistant glass and ceramics, lubricants, metal alloys, as well as pharmaceuticals. Okay, so these are the type of customers who are dealing with, who utilize our lithium to manufacture batteries, heat-resistant glass and ceramics, lubricants, metal alloys, and pharmaceuticals. And companies such as us, when conducting our extraction processes, we rely on three main methods. So there's hard rock mining, traditional brine mining, as well as direct extraction. So let's try to figure out what each of these extraction methods are all about. So looking at hard rock mining, this is a situation where companies mine lithium using the open pit method, which is simply put, this is a process where you dig out lithium from earth. And when digging out lithium from earth, companies rely on heavy machinery and equipment. So let me quickly show you an image which indicates what these companies are up to. So you utilize heavy machinery and simply dig out earths until you get your hands on lithium. So that's the direct, that's what hard rock mining is all about. We are digging out lithium from earth. However, hard rock mining carries adverse environmental impacts because it leads to this type of mining activity leads to soil erosion. It destructs natural habitats. It pollutes water sources, local water sources, because we are, when, carrying out mining activities, it will contaminate local water sources, the groundwater of the locality. So these are the type of environmental impacts tied to hard rock mining. And there's a lot of carbon emissions due to the use of heavy mining equipment. And there are a lot of carbon emissions tied to transportation as well, because once we have extracted the brine, we have to send it across to the processing plant. So there's emissions tied to transportation between mines and processing plants. And when it comes to processing activities, again, it results in a lot of carbon emissions because there's a lot of energy being used. And after we have gotten our hands on processed lithium, we have to send it across to different types of customers spread across the world. Again, there are logistics related carbon emissions. So if you look at the mining industry, there's a lot of carbon emissions happening, not just tied to mining activities, but tied to other related activities as well. And out of the three mining methods, hard rock mining carries the highest amount of carbon emissions, specifically due to the logistics related carbon emissions, and specifically due to the use of heavy mining equipment and processing initiatives. And the second type of extraction method is known as traditional brine mining. This is a situation where you extract lithium by pumping out brine found in underground salt lakes. So what you do is you pump out brine found in underground salt lakes, and you pump out this brine to something called an evaporation pond. So you pump out the brine to or the salt to an evaporation pond, and you wait until the water evaporates, and then you'd get hold of the pure salt or the pure brine, and this brine is further processed to get our hands on lithium. Okay, so let me quickly show you what this is all about. So you pump out the brine and pump it out onto a salt evaporation pool, and once the water evaporates, we are left with the salt, and the salt or this brine is processed to get our hands on lithium. So that's what traditional brine mining is all about. This is the cheapest method out of the three methods. However, it carries huge environmental impacts because when utilizing these brine pools, we are reliant on water. It uses 500,000 liters per ton of lithium manufactured. And this leads to us polluting local water supplies because we rely on, pumping out the salt. When doing so, we rely on a lot of water in the processing processes, in the processing initiative. So because of that, we end up polluting local water supplies, and it carries this type of mining carries the highest use of fresh water and highest use of land. So this pollutes the environment, especially focused on water. If you look at countries like Chile, the localities don't have access to clean water due to the mining activities carried out by multinational mining companies. So that's traditional brine mining. And looking at direct extraction, or this is known as a DLE method, direct lithium extraction method. This is a situation where we pump out brine and process the brine to remove lithium before returning brine to its source. So what we do is, whilst pumping out the brine, we process it then and there, and the byproducts are sent back to their original location. So this is an expensive method. However, this method helps us avoid environmental damage. So we need not rely on evaporation ponds, because although we are getting hold of the brine, we are processing it then and there, and the remnants are sent to the original location then and there. So we need not use evaporation ponds. So because of that, we are not using a lot of fresh water. And some direct lithium extraction plants are self-sufficient in terms of power, because most DLE plants out there, you don't find a lot of DLE plants, but most of them rely on geothermal electricity, which carries zero emissions. And because of that, this is the most environmentally friendly extraction method. But since this extraction method is extremely expensive, it's extremely rare to find mines which use the DLE method, or the direct lithium extraction method. So these are the three different mining initiatives carried out by mining companies out there. And if you look at the internal dynamics of your chosen company, which is Rotomyne, we only rely on hard rock mining and traditional brine mining. We are yet to start direct lithium extraction. We are yet to invest on conducting our extraction processes using this methodology. So we are reliant on the traditional means of carrying out mining activities. So it's good for us with regards to costs. So we are not spending a lot of money relative to direct lithium extraction when it comes to carrying out extraction processes. However, this carries a huge environmental footprint, which is bad for our reputation, and this is bad for the environment as well. So that's what I wanted to highlight. And having said that, let's look at the industry analysis slide. So I'm not going to take you through this set of slides in its entirety. I simply want to direct your attention towards the industry overview, and then I'll direct your attention towards the industry trends, because based on these industry trends, scenarios can be tested at your real exam. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, you are looking at the lithium mining industry, and these players within this industry are involved with the extraction of lithium from hard rock and brine mine pools, which are further processed for use in lithium-ion batteries mainly. But as I mentioned earlier, you can utilize lithium in other different industries as well. So the main activities carried out by players within this industry are tied to hard rock mining and extracting brine. And once brine is extracted, once hard rock is extracted, it should be further processed to get our hands on lithium. So mining companies are not into extraction, they are into processing as well. And the goals of these players within this industry is to extract lithium efficiently as much as possible, and at the same time achieve a high level of sustainability. So you can efficiently extract in this day and age, because mining companies rely on sophisticated technology as well as sophisticated industrial vehicles to conduct their operations. So most companies are always trying to innovate in terms of trying to reduce the cost as much as possible. And at the same time, as I mentioned earlier, this industry is a large polluter. It carries a huge carbon footprint. So most mining companies always say that they are trying to achieve a high level of sustainability. Well, although companies say this, they don't achieve the sustainability goals, because when you are involved with mining, you cannot go without polluting your environment. And on top of that, if you are really concerned about, if the mining industry is really concerned about achieving sustainability, they should shut down their traditional mining processes and start adopting the DLE method. However, since it's expensive, no major players are totally reliant on carrying out DLE or direct lithium extraction methods. And supply of lithium. Another goal is to supply lithium to meet rising global demand for electric vehicles and the sustainable energy sector. So, as I mentioned earlier, the demand for lithium is mainly driven by the EV sector, electric vehicle sector, because there's a huge demand for electric vehicles, given the fact that most countries in Europe and America are trying to achieve carbon neutrality by the year 2030. So most governments within these regions are pushing customers to opt for electric vehicles. So because of that, there's a huge demand for EVs, and this huge demand is driving demand for the lithium mining activities. And also, if you look at sustainable energy sources, so alternative energy sources such as windmills and whatnot, you generate a lot of energy, but you need to have the capability to store it. So when it comes to storing this excess energy, lithium batteries are always utilized. So these are the goals of players within this industry. So let me quickly take you to the industry through the industry trends. So there's a lot of technological advancements which you can see within this industry, because direct lithium extraction is totally different to the traditional extraction methods, as it significantly reduces water usage and increases lithium yields, because you are conducting processing operations then and there whilst extracting the brine from underground pools. And there's a lot of vertical integration which you can see within this industry as well. So with the intention of cutting out the middlemen, most major players within the mining industry try to tie themselves up with the supply chain. So that is what vertical integration is all about. So most players are trying to integrate with battery manufacturers to control value chains, because if you go for vertical integration, then you can get rid of unnecessary costs, unnecessary non-value adding activities, thereby increasing efficiency and at the same time reducing the costs of processing and extracting lithium, which is good for these companies in terms of profitability. And there's a higher focus on sustainability as well. Companies are pushing to reduce the environmental, companies are actually trying to reduce the environmental impact, not just because they want to achieve it, but because the governments are pressurizing them to reduce their carbon footprints. Because as I mentioned earlier, most governments out there are trying to achieve carbon neutrality by 2030. And most of the mining initiatives are carried out in Australia, China, and South Americas. And most major players are located within South American countries such as Chile, and they rely on traditional extraction methods. So because of that, these mining companies had ended up polluting the local water sources, polluting the local environments. And because of that, the Chilean government has introduced additional laws, new laws, to make sure that these mining companies carry out their operations in a sustainable manner. However, there are unethical elements which come into play as well, because most of these mining companies, because they are rich, they are involved with corporate political activity, they are involved with lobbying, and on top of that, they donate a lot of money for political campaigns. So although the Chilean government is trying to push for regulation, at the same time, they are receiving the bribes as well as political donations from these mining companies. So although companies are saying that they are focused on achieving higher levels of sustainability, they are actually focused on reducing their costs as much as possible, thereby relying on traditional extraction methods. But governments out there are trying to push these companies to achieve better levels of sustainability. And there are geopolitical concerns as well, because as I mentioned earlier, the lithium mines are mainly located within China, Australia, and Chile. So Chile had aligned itself with the USA, and the Australian mines had aligned themselves with China. So there's a lithium war going on between USA and China. because both these countries are looking for dominance, energy dominance. So with that in mind, they are trying to build up their lithium reserves as much as possible. So all these tensions had led to geopolitical concerns, which exposes these companies to political and economic risks as well. All right, so these are the industry trends, and the emerging trends are increased demand for electric vehicles, which is driving demand for lithium, and sustainable mining practices are adopted by small mining companies. There's green lithium certification, and on top of that, water saving technologies such as direct lithium extraction, which are considered as drivers of competitive advantage, because smaller battery manufacturing companies like to deal with companies which carry green certification, and companies which had invested on direct lithium extraction methods. And there's better battery technology coming into play as well, because most batteries out there which utilize lithium, they rely on lithium chloride, but better quality batteries can be manufactured using lithium hydroxide. So high energy batteries are considered by manufacturers out there, and alternatives to lithium had come into play as well, because there are sodium ion batteries. These sodium ion batteries are still in the development phase. They are still conducting their research, because if sodium ion batteries are adopted by players out there, by battery manufacturers, it will significantly reduce their their production costs. Why is this the case? Because sodium ion, when it comes to extracting sodium ion, it's extremely cheaper relative to extracting lithium. However, the problem is lithium is lightweight, sodium is it carries a lot of weight. So because of that, you cannot use sodium ion batteries within consumer electronics and within EVs, electric vehicles. Instead, you have to utilize sodium ion batteries in the alternative energy sector, because they, as I mentioned earlier, windmills generate a lot of energy, and this excess energy should be stored somewhere in batteries. And sodium ion batteries are the best solution, because it's although it's it carries a lot of weight, it's extremely cheaper compared to lithium batteries. So these are the things which might change the dynamics of our industry in the future. Okay, so I hope you gained a good understanding of what appears, what happens within your industry. So before we move on to the Preseen analysis, let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS. So I'm on the SCS page. If you're yet to create a free user account, click on this button and create your own free user account. Once you have created a free account, you'd gain access to our dashboard. So go to My Courses, and in front of SCS Free, you'd see a button which reads as Access Content. Click on it, and via our student dashboard, you'd gain access to the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops. And you'd also gain access to the study material, the free study material, which includes the answer plan of the free mock exam, and also the Preseen mind map, which I showed you at the inception of this session. You will also gain access to the free mock exam, its questions and answers, and you'd also be in a position to attempt the free mock exam under exam conditions via TCS's exam platform. So we have developed an exam platform which is akin to the Pearson VUE system, on which you'd attempt your real examination. So you have the opportunity of attempting mock exam 1, which is our free mock exam, under exam conditions via our exam platform. But don't attempt the mock exam right now. Wait until we are done with the third webinar, which is happening next week, because then you'd learn answering and time management technique. After you have learned these two techniques, you are supposed to implement these techniques and see for yourself where you stand as a student by attempting mock number 1 under exam conditions via our exam platform. So create a free user account by clicking on this button, and if you are interested in investing on our paid content, click on this button and check our sample material before you do so. And if you're yet to join the SCS WhatsApp discussion forum, click on this button and join it. Via this forum, we will be sharing a lot of free resources with you. And at the same time, we will keep you informed about the weekly webinars and workshops, the commencement dates and times. And Additionally, if you have any questions or concerns, you can raise these concerns via this group. I'm always there to help you guys out. And talking about what we offer two main packages, the value pack and the premium pack. The value pack is designed for those who are coming through the CIMA general route. So if you're coming through the general route, you would have already completed your E3, F3, and P3 syllabi, which indicates the fact that you have already learned theory. So if you're such a student, you simply need to focus your attention towards improving your application skills. So with the intention of making sure that you improve your application skills, we have developed a set of resources under the value pack. So the value pack comes with recordings of all weekly webinars and workshops which we conduct. You will also gain access to 6 mock exams with suggested answers. So on top of the free mock exam, which is mock exam 1, you will gain access to 5 additional mock exams. And as I mentioned earlier, we have made sure to cover all syllabus elements when developing these 6 mock exams. It takes 6 mocks to cover all syllabus elements because if you had referred to past exam variants or past papers, you know what I'm talking about. Focused on each Preseen, the examiner develops 6 different variants because it takes 6 mocks to 6 variants to cover all syllabus elements. So replicating a similar methodology, we have developed 6 mock exams to make sure that all syllabus elements are covered in our mock exams. And you'd also gain access to Preseen analysis videos, 3 videos in total. And in a little while, you'd see how we conduct our Preseen analysis sessions. And you'd also gain access to the annotated Preseen. A while back, you saw what our annotated Preseen looks like. And when conducting our Preseen analysis session in a little while, I will also take you through this same annotated Preseen. You'd also gain access to industry and financial analysis slides. You saw what they look like a while back. You'd also gain access to top 20 likely issues, which indicate the most probable syllabus elements, so scenarios which can be tested at your real exam. You will also gain access to a case study familiarization kit. So once you go through this familiarization kit, within 10 to 15 minutes, you are in a position to gain an in-depth understanding about the technicalities behind your SCS exam. You will also gain access to a tutor-managed live chat and OTQ revision cards. So as I mentioned earlier, the value pack is designed for those who have already learned theory. So you are expected to, attempt the 6 mock exams and conduct revision on your own. So after attempting each mock exam, if you feel that you struggled with a certain subtask, you need not refer to your old notes or bulky study texts. Simply refer to our revision cards to brush up your knowledge in a jiffy. Okay, so the value pack is priced at £299. And talking about the premium pack, this is designed for those who are coming through the exemption routes, as well as those who had failed the SCS exam previously. So under the premium pack, we have come up with an additional set of resources, primarily with the intention of ensuring that you overcome your knowledge gaps and significantly improve your application skills, because both sets of students who are coming through exemptions as well as those who had failed have significant knowledge gaps as well as issues with application. So without overcoming your knowledge gaps and application issues, you cannot pass this examination. So with that in mind, we have come up with an additional set of resources on top of what appears under the value pack. You'd gain access to the online mock exam platform on which you can attempt all 6 mock exams under exam conditions. So you are not supposed to utilize this mock exam platform as yet, because you have to wait until you learn answering and take time management techniques, which I'm going to teach you next week. And the intention of ensuring that you attempt each mock exam under exam conditions is to make sure that you have the opportunity to master answering, time management, and stress management techniques. Because if you handle these 3 elements successfully when conducting your preparations, you will be extremely comfortable at your real exam. You will never run out of time. You will develop well-structured answers, and at the same time, you will successfully manage your stresses at your real examination. You will also gain access to answer plans of all 6 mock exams. So let me quickly show you what our answer plans look like. So, usually you'd get your hands on the mock exams and their suggested answers. We have gone a step further. We are sharing answer plans with you. These are answer structures or summaries of or the suggested answers which we have developed for all 6 mock exams. So once you have access to these summaries, your life becomes easy because you can easily understand how to structure your answers. You can easily understand how to bring in theoretical knowledge when developing your answers. And at the same time, you can easily spot when pre-seen information should be brought in with the intention of adding value to your answers. And on top of that, when it comes to conducting revision, your life becomes easy because we are suggesting a study process in which when conducting revision, you are supposed to develop something called answer plans. Once you are done with a mock attempt, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans. And once you have redeveloped answer plans, you are supposed to compare your fresh answer plans to our answer plans once more to gain a better understanding of how you should structure your answer, or how or what you need to do to improve the quality of your answers. And having access to these answer plans is crucial, especially closer to the exam, because as per our study plan, a week before your exam, you are supposed to go through the answer plans of all 6 mock exams. And when you are doing it, it's as if you are revising the entire syllabus, and at the same time, going through answer structures once more, with the intention of ensuring a pass at your SCS examination. So these are the resources which appear under the premium pack, and you'd also gain access to 15 masterclasses. So from mock 2 to 6, we have developed masterclasses. So in each mock exam, there are 3 sections, just like in your real exam. So 3 sections into 15 mocks come up to 15 sections in total. So focused on each of these sections, we have developed these masterclasses, and we have developed these resources with the intention of teaching you the logic behind each answer, and at the same time teaching you the theoretical element covered within each mock exam. Also, to make sure that you understand how to improve your application skills, or how to get application right when developing your answers. So if you have knowledge gaps and issues with application, by watching these masterclasses, you can easily learn theory and at the same time improve application. You need not spend time to learn theory on your own, because you can learn theory on your own, but you can't work on application on your own. The best way to learn theory and application is to rely on the mocks which we have prepared, because when you understand the logic behind each answer which we have developed, then you can easily replicate a similar methodology at your real examination. And once you have access to all this content, you can pass for sure, hence the pass guarantee. So if you invest on the premium package and end up failing, you will gain access to the premium content in your subsequent sitting free of charge. However, in order to claim the pass guarantee, you have to complete these 3 requirements. You have to complete all 6 mock exams. If not, you would be testing your luck at your real examination, because if you are to cover all syllabus elements, if you are to conduct your preparations in a foolproof manner, then you have to complete all 6 mock exams. Just because you invest on premium and attempt simply 2 or 3 mock exams, you cannot pass this examination. And your solutions should be original as well. So when attempting each mock exam, do not watch the master classes, do not go through the answer plans or the suggested answers. I want you to attempt each mock exam on your own, which is the best way to understand your shortcomings, because you can always learn how to properly structure answers when you are watching the master classes. So when attempting the mock exam, the objective should be to understand your shortcomings, because if you understand your shortcomings, you can take steps to overcome them when conducting your revision. And you are supposed to meet the performance criteria for the last 3 mock exams, where you are supposed to score 40% or higher. We have come up with this performance criteria to make sure that you do a serious job when attempting the last 3 mock exams, especially given the fact that you receive tutor feedback for them. So let me quickly show you the type of feedback we offer at TCS. So as you can see, throughout this answer script, we have provided in-depth evaluations with the intention of ensuring that you understand what your shortcomings are. Not just understand the shortcomings, we have also highlighted solutions pertaining to each shortcoming which we have identified. So throughout this document, you can see the amount of evaluations or tutor feedback which we have provided. You'd receive the similar type of feedback to your answer scripts if you opt for premium. And at the very end, we have allocated marks on a subtask by subtask basis. And we have also indicated a success rate. As you can see, this student has only gained 45 marks when the pass mark is 80 and the success rate is just 30%. Why is this the case? Because you can see the yellow highlighted elements, which indicate the fact that in almost all the subtasks, this student has not done a good job. The standard of performance was subpar. So after receiving tutor feedback, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans once more. So when redeveloping answer plans, rather than focusing on the entire mock exam, simply focus your attention towards the subtasks which are highlighted in yellow. This is the best way to overcome your shortcomings. This is the best way to conduct your revision, which is focused on overcoming your shortcomings. And at the very end, we provide general comments as well. So if you invest on the premium package, you will pass for sure. That is why we are providing a pass guarantee. So the premium package is priced at £899, which can be paid in 2 installments of £449 each, or you can opt to pay in full and save £100. If so, the price is just £799. You can invest on your preferred content by clicking on either of these buttons. And before we move on to the Preseen analysis, let me quickly tell you what you need to achieve within this week as per our 8-week study plan, which can be accessed via our website itself. So as per the study plan, we are in week number 2. Within this week, you are supposed to focus your attention towards your Preseen document. So you are supposed to watch the Preseen analysis videos, 3 videos in total. Then you'd gain an in-depth understanding of the info which appears within your Preseen document. After doing so, you are supposed to refer to the annotated Preseen on your own, thereby conducting your own revision. Then refer to the industry and financial analysis slides on your own. So within this week, focus your attention towards Preseen, cover all elements which appear within your Preseen, because from next week, you have to start attempting mock exams. So don't wait until the last moment. Within this week, finish off your preparation pertinent to the Preseen, so that you can start attempting mock exams without any stresses. Okay, so that's what we offer at TCS. All right, so having said that, let's move on to the Preseen analysis session. So in the industry analysis session, I took you through the main industry dynamics, and I hope you know what these type of companies are up to. So let's try to figure out what our company is up to by looking at the information which appears within your Preseen document. So as I mentioned earlier, this time Preseen is based on a company which is known as Rotomyne, and we are into mining lithium. And this company is based in Poland. Because of that, our currency is the P dollar, and we are headquartered in the capital city of Poland, although our mines are located elsewhere. So if you look at a real life mining company, this is exactly how they operate. The mines are located across the world, especially in the South Americas, Australia, as well as China. However, the head offices are usually in Europe. So our operations are headquartered in capital city, although our mines are located elsewhere. And we were founded in the 1950s, which is a significant strength, which drives reputation for us. And we can easily find new clients, and we can easily deal with clients and seek collaborative relationships with them, given the reputation which we have built since the 1950s. And we are also quoted for the past 52 years, which is again a considerable strength for us, because when dealing with B2B clients, they will definitely trust a company which has which is quoted within the local stock market. And we are one of the largest players within this industry. And if you had, I don't have time to conduct an industry analysis in depth, but if you refer to the first Preseen analysis video, which appears under the paid content, I've highlighted the fact that 50% of the revenue is generated by 4 main players, and we are one of the 4 main players operating within this industry. So we are one of the largest players within this industry. And our reputation is based on innovation, which indicates the fact that we are trying to do something new at all instances. And this appears within our value system as well. I'm going to take you through our values in a little while, then you understand what I'm talking about. So our reputation is based on innovation, which is a significant strength of our company. So what are we trying to innovate? We are trying to find rapid and reliable extraction and delivery methods, because as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of carbon emissions tied to extraction processes as well as delivery or logistics methods. So we are conducting a lot of research with the indication of reducing our carbon footprint, and at the same time we are trying to reduce the costs involved with mining operations. So if we can mine rapidly and if we can extract in a reliable manner, we can significantly drive down our operational costs. So we are spending a lot of money on innovation with the intention of engaging ourselves with rapid and reliable extraction and delivery methods. And we own and operate 6 hard rock mines and 3 traditional brine mines. So all in all, we own and operate 9 mines, out of which 6 mines operate as hard rock mines. You know what hard rock mines are right now, because I explained these things as part of the industry analysis. And we also own and operate 3 traditional brine mines. And these 2 types of mining activities are known to be the worst when it comes to environmental pollution and sustainability. So we do not rely on DLE at the moment, direct lithium extraction at the moment. We rely on the traditional means of extraction methods. And our mines are located in 6 different countries. So out of our 9 mines, 7 are located within well-developed countries, which is good for us. When dealing in well-developed countries, we won't be exposed to a lot of political and economic risk. However, we are also, 2 of our mines are located within high-risk countries or underdeveloped countries. So this exposes us to significant political and economic risk. And these risks are highlighted within our risk report as well. So we operate 9 different mines, 6 of which are hard rock mines and 3 are traditional brine mines. And these 9 mines are located within 6 different countries. And out of these 9 mines, 7 are located in well-developed countries and 2 are located in high-risk countries. And looking at recent operations, we acquired a mine way back in 2004. So for the past 20 odd years, we have not acquired a new mine. You might think that this is strange, but if you look at the industry dynamics, it is quite normal for a mining company to purchase a mine and keep utilizing it for 50 odd years. Why is this the case? Because once you gain access to a sizable ore, you can keep exploiting it for an extended time period. So that's exactly why we have not purchased a new mine, because we have enough and more mines. We have 9 mines at our disposal, and usually each mine can be used for more than 50 years. So that's why we have not purchased a new mine. And it's mentioned that it's unlikely to acquire new mines as well, especially given the fact that there's an extremely low amount of promising sites available. Because if you are to carry out your extraction activities, you need to consider the quality and the size of the ore. So lithium can be found in most countries, but the quality is substandard, and at the same time, the size of the ore is it doesn't make any financial sense to extract an extremely small brine pool. So because of that, due to this fact, it's unlikely to acquire new mines, because there's few promising sites available. And on top of that, it's extremely hard to get government approval, especially given the fact that we are dealing in an industry which is harming the environment, which is unsustainable. So because of that, given the carbon emission goals of most governments, they don't provide approval easily. So because of that, you can safely assume that at your examination, there won't be a scenario where we are trying to acquire a new mine, because we have mines at our disposal at the moment, and we can utilize our mines in excess of 50 years. And we also have our own research and training facility. And using this research and training facility, we try to develop new ways to use lithium in industrial settings. So as I mentioned earlier, the demand for lithium is driven by the demand for our industry is driven by the demand for lithium batteries. So if we are to increase our sales, we have to make sure that the demand for lithium usage in industrial settings increases as well. So with this in mind, we try to develop new ways to use lithium in industrial settings. And at the same time, we try to develop new extraction and conversion techniques. We try to reduce our costs tied to extraction and conversion or processing. And at the same time, we try to achieve better levels of sustainability as much as possible. So we are not only focused on improving our extraction and processing operations, we are also focused on conducting our research to find out new ways of using lithium. And usually companies, lithium companies, share this type of proprietary information with other players in the market, because if the entire industry improves, then it's better for all players, mostly the major players within the industry. So with that in mind, most major players share their innovative technology, research related data with their competitors, with the intention of ensuring they push up the demand for lithium, because if you do so, we'd benefit in terms of additional revenues and profitability. And also our research and training facilities linked with leading universities. So academics of the local universities use our facility, and this is extremely good for our reputation. This is extremely good for PR. And on top of that, when they find something, when they innovate something, definitely it will impact our operations in a beneficial manner. That's exactly why we have opened our research and training facilities doors to academics. And this has benefited Rotomyne in the past as well, because these academics had invented new ways in which lithium can be used in commercial applications, such as battery technology and whatnot. So because of that, this is an extremely beneficial relationship which we have with the local universities. And we also collaborate with customers on research and development. So let's assume we are dealing with a battery manufacturer. So if the battery manufacturer wants to figure out how we can innovate the battery, how we can come up with a higher quality battery, we conduct research within our research facility on behalf of our clients. Why is this the case? As I mentioned earlier, if demand for lithium increases, so would our revenues. So with the intention of improving the quality of lithium, with the intention of improving the way in which lithium can be used in industrial settings, in commercial settings, we help our clients conduct their own research initiatives. And we provide on safe handling and management of lithium, which indicates the fact that we are hell-bent on fulfilling the health and safety related needs of our employees. These are highlighted within the values of our company. In a little while, when I'm taking you through the values, you'd understand what I'm talking about. So we provide training on safe handling and management of lithium. And when providing this training, we are training our chemists as well as engineers, and we don't stop there. We extend our training facilities to our university academic staff as well as university students. And this helps us with recruitments as well, because when we create a good and direct relationship with academic staff and students, whenever we need new chemists, engineers, and any other type of employee, we can easily recruit these individuals with whom we have a direct contact, with whom we have a collaborative relationship. So that's how we run our research and training facility. So everything looks good. Having our own research and training facility is aligned with our reputation for innovation, and we try to be innovative as per our value system. Again, this is good for us. And with regards to our manufacturing operations, so processing operations, manufacturing or processing happens at processing plants which are adjacent to mines. So right next to a mine, we have developed our processing plants, which is the normal practice, because as I mentioned earlier, there's a transportation cost which leads to carbon emissions between the extraction sites, and when you are transporting the hard rock or the brine between the mines and the processing plants. So with the intention of reducing transportation as much as possible, we have developed our processing plants adjacent to mines. And these mines are highly automated. And this is normal practice if you look at the real life dynamics of your chosen industry, because all these automated factories are operated utilizing software and hardware via our head office. So that's how real life companies operate as well. Why are these processing plants highly automated? With the intention of reducing the need to expose workers to dust and fumes, which again indicates the fact that we try to take care of our employees as much as possible. However, at the very end of your pre-scene, there's a newspaper article which indicates the fact that this software, which is used to remotely operate our processing plants, the software have security vulnerability. So there could be a scenario which indicates the fact that we are exposed to a data breach due to us utilizing this type of software, which carries security vulnerability. So you'd gain a better understanding of these elements if you watch the first pre-scene analysis video, because whilst teaching you or taking you through the industry dynamics, I've also explained what appears within each newspaper article, which appears towards the very end of your pre-scene document. So mines are highly automated and operations are handled by the head office, which tracks inventory management and the way in which we manage our shipment. And we are dealing with a lot of clients who are spread across the world. We are shipping our lithium to 90 different countries, which indicates the fact that we are exposed to a lot of forex risk. And there are varying lead times, because when dealing with clients located throughout the globe, definitely the lead times will not be consistent. So considering this information, the probable exam scenarios which can be tested are pertaining to the risk exposure tied to political, economic, and country risk, because we are dealing with a lot of clients spread across 90 countries. And on top of that, we have 7 mines within developed countries and 2 of our mines in underdeveloped countries. So when dealing with different type of governments, we'd be dealing with different legislations. So because of that, this exposes us to significant political, economic, and country risk, especially when dealing with underdeveloped countries. Also, since we are dealing with 90 different customers, since we are shipping to 90 different countries, we are exposed to foreign exchange risk as well. And in a little while, when I'm going to take you through the revenue split, you'd understand the fact that we are relying on a single customer. 22% of our revenues are generated by supplying to a EV manufacturer. So because of that, we are reliant on one single customer. And this exposes us to risks, because if by any chance, if we lose out this customer, then it will expose us to financial risks in the future. And at the exam, you are not just expected to identify these type of different risks. You are also supposed to come up with mitigatory action with the intention of managing each type of risk. So when coming up with mitigatory action, you have to always consider the information which is presented in each scenario. So you cannot memorize mitigatory action. You can have a generic understanding of the type of mitigatory action which you can provide by looking at the risk report. I'm going to take you through the first part of the risk report in a little while, then you'd understand what I'm talking about. So you can have a general level of understanding of how we can mitigate the identified risks. However, when developing your answers, always make sure that you develop mitigatory strategies which are totally aligned with the information at hand. Also, you'd be expected to evaluate a merger or an acquisition, or us pursuing a vertical integration, because most large players within the real life industry go for mergers and acquisitions and opt for vertical integration with the intention of controlling the market, with the intention of improving profitability, and at the same time reducing their risk exposure. So based on these exam scenarios, the syllabus elements which can be tested are tied to forex risk identification and management, which falls under your F3 syllabus, and mergers and acquisitions, as well as vertical integrations, evaluating each strategic initiative, which falls under your E3 syllabus, since we are dealing with different players located across the country, across the world rather, your knowledge pertinent to protest diamond, which falls under your E3 syllabus, will be tested. Sustainability and ethics will definitely be tested because this industry is well known to be unsustainable, well known to pollute the environment. And on top of that, we always have to be ethical when conducting business operations, especially as I mentioned earlier, most mining companies are well known for unethical business practices. And as a senior finance manager, when recommending something, you cannot recommend anything which is unethical. If you do so, even if you had gotten more than 80 marks, you will still end up failing the exam because the CIMA examiner is hell-bent about understanding whether you are involved with ethical decision making. So your knowledge pertaining to ethics, business ethics, as well as sustainability will be tested. And you'd also have to conduct competitor analysis, especially if there's a scenario where we are trying to go for a merger, where we are trying to acquire a company, or where we are trying to go for some type of integration. So, all these elements are covered within our mock exam, so you need not worry. Right, so let's look at the revenue split. As I mentioned earlier, our largest customer is a major vehicle manufacturer, and we are generating 22% of our total revenue by supplying to this player, which exposes us to an operational risk because, as I mentioned earlier, if we lose out this customer, it will impact our finances in an adverse manner. And looking at the revenue split, we generate 45% of our total revenue by supplying battery-grade lithium, and we generate 26% of our revenues by supplying non-battery grade lithium, and we also generate 23% of our revenues by supplying beauty lithium, and these are used within the tire industry and tire manufacturing and pharmaceutical industry. And we also generate 6% of our total revenues by supplying lithium metal, and we are shipping to 90 different countries, which exposes us to forex risk. And our forex risk exposure is managed by our treasury department, which is located within our head office. So when I'm taking you through the risk report, I'm going to address this element, thereby evaluating whether we have implemented appropriate mitigatory strategies with the intention of managing our forex risk exposure in a successful manner. Okay, so that's that. So let's look at the vision, mission, and values of your chosen company. The mission, which indicates the reason for being or addresses the question, why do we exist? So let's try to understand why Rotomyne exists as a company. We are operating to power consumers' lives in a clean, healthy, and sustainable world. So our mission statement can be divided into two main elements. We are trying to power consumers' lives. So that's exactly why we are extracting lithium solely with the intention of supplying to the battery manufacturing market. So that's one of our main priorities. So that's exactly why it appears within our mission statement. We strive to power consumers' lives, not just power consumers' lives. We also strive to do our business, carry out our business in a clean, healthy, and sustainable world. I don't know whether we are achieving this because we are operating in an extremely, in an industry which is extremely bad for the environment. However, we strive to achieve this. We strive to conduct our operations in a clean, healthy, and sustainable world. Because if we are really trying to achieve our mission, we should go for direct lithium extraction, and we are yet to do so. So there's some disparity between the mission and what we do at the moment. And looking at the vision statement gives us an indication about what we strive to achieve in the future. So in the future, we strive to remain as a reliable supplier of good quality material. So we are known for our reliability at the moment, our reputation. We have generated a reputation for reliability. So we strive to achieve a similar feat in the future as well. And we are trying to transform the delivery of power by supporting customers. So if we are to, support our customers, we have to listen to them. That's exactly what we are doing at the moment. We let our customers utilize our research and training facility, as I mentioned earlier. and we are involved with joint research initiatives. So this indicates the fact that we are sticking to this vision. So the future looks good because we are already a reliable supply of good quality material, and we already support our customers to transform the delivery of power. And we are, carrying out a lot of research initiatives with the intention of further innovating. So because of that, it appears that our current operations are totally aligned with our vision statement. And looking at the values, which gives us an indication about the belief system, about the culture of our organization. We believe in ethics and honesty, which is good. We believe in sustainability. I have my doubts about this because although we believe in sustainability, we are yet to invest on direct lithium extraction, which again indicates the fact that our operations are a bit different to our values, and we are hell-bent on creating a safe working environment. So that's exactly why we have automated our processing plants with the intention of ensuring the health and safety of our workers, and we strive to constantly innovate. Again, we are involved with innovation since inception, and that's exactly why we have our own research facility, and we are collaborating with different stakeholders via this research facility. And we always try to respond to customer needs, and this is aligned with our vision as well. So all in all, there's a good connection between our mission, vision, and values, which indicates the fact that our company is in good hands, and our company is focused on achieving better corporate governance. The only issue is the fact that there's a mention about sustainability within our mission statement and values. And I have my concerns about this element rather, because we are yet to invest on direct lithium extraction methods. So the overall analysis is to, since we are dealing with a lot of stakeholders, and there's a mention about the type of stakeholders which we deal with, especially customers and employees, you will definitely have to analyze stakeholders based on their level of power and interest. So there will be questions about stakeholder analysis, which expects you to carry out a stakeholder analysis. If so, you are supposed to utilize your knowledge concerning the Mendelov matrix, which appears within your E3 syllabus. And as I mentioned earlier, employee and customer well-being is considered. So your knowledge pertaining to GRI standards or integrated reporting, which appears within your F3 syllabus, will definitely be tested. Again, I've made sure to cover these elements when developing the mock exams, and the probable exam scenarios which can be tested are tied to evaluating strategic options. So you will have to definitely evaluate a certain strategic option against the mission statement, the vision statement, and the values of our company. Again, we have included such a question within one of our mock exams. And when evaluating a new strategic initiative such as a merger, an acquisition, or a vertical integration, or opting for direct lithium extraction methods, your knowledge pertaining to a safe framework will be tested at the exam. Again, we have included a question which covers this framework. And you'd also be expected to recommend internal controls in relation to efficiency improvements and innovation, since we are hell-bent on being innovative in the future as well. Internal controls, you should be ready to suggest internal controls with regards to stakeholder management, sustainability achievement, ensuring safety at work, risk management, and conducting ethical business practices. Again, all these elements are covered within our mock exams. All right, so let's look at your board members. You need not go through all this information in depth. You need not memorize this information because this information which are highlighted in yellow indicate what our directors were up to in the past, and it gives us a clearer picture about their levels of expertise and educational background. So you need not memorize them. Simply, after going through the Preseen analysis videos, simply read through the yellow highlighted elements. You need not really remember all this information, because your role is to deal with these directors, thereby assisting them with long-term decision making. You need not remember what their qualifications are. So there's a non-executive chair within our company, and there's a CEO, and this individual is providing leadership to all our directors. So we have a production director, HR director, chief financial officer, marketing director, and there are 3 different independent directors as well. So that's exactly what you can see in here. The CEO provides leadership to the production director, human resources director, CFO, and the marketing director. So the production director is involved with or providing leadership to mining operations, lithium extraction and processing plants. And this individual is looking into environmental protection as well. So don't confuse sustainability with environmental protection. Sustainability transcends environmental protection. So it indicates, it shows us that we are not, although we try to achieve sustainability, there's nobody within the board who is capable of providing leadership to these sustainability initiatives. Although we are looking into environmental protection, if you look at the credentials of the production director, this individual has no experience tied to sustainability. So that's exactly why I'm saying we might have to appoint a separate director or ask one of our existing directors to look into sustainability initiatives. Okay, so that's what the production director is up to. And looking at the HR director, this individual looks into recruitments, remuneration, training, and health and safety. CFO looks into financial and management accounting, as well as providing leadership to the treasury department. And the marketing director looks into sales and customer relationships and manages the distribution channels. And based on it, probable exam scenarios highlighted in here. I'm not going to take you through all these elements because these elements are covered in depth within our Preseen analysis sessions. We are running out of time, so I want to quickly take you through this set of information. So looking at the board members, we can see that they are skilled, experienced, and knowledgeable, which is good for us, which leads to better corporate governance. And all individuals have appropriate industry knowledge. So again, this is good for us. And they are experienced, well-versed with what we are up to. All these individuals had worked within Rotomyne for some time. So again, it's good to know about what happens within the industry as well as what happens within our company. So this leads to positive corporate governance. And looking at their backgrounds or expertise, these individuals come from different backgrounds, which is again good for corporate governance. There's an individual who is well-versed with law. As I mentioned earlier, we are dealing with different governments and different types of legislations developed by these lawmakers. So it's better to have someone who has legal expertise within our board. And one individual has expertise in chemical manufacturing. So we are utilizing a lot of chemical in our processing plants. So it's good to have someone who knows about the use of chemical, because these chemicals are pollutants as well. So since we are striving to achieve sustainability, it's best that someone with the necessary capabilities and knowledge appear within our board. And since we have a separate research and training facility, it's good to have someone who comes from a R&D background. And there's an individual who is well-versed with HR, finance, marketing and sales, politics and legislation. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we are dealing with several different governments. When doing so, it's best to have someone who is aware of how politics work, how legislation work, because within our board, there are individuals who had worked with the Poland government and who are conversant with legislation. So it's good to have individuals such as this within our board, and they are well versed in quality, health, and safety, as well as there are academics within our board, which is beneficial for us when conducting our research initiatives, as well as when conducting our recruitments in the future. However, although all these good things are there, there's an imbalance between executive directors and independent non-executive directors. There are 5 executive directors and just 4 independent non-executive directors. So as per corporate governance guidance, a board should comprise of the same amount of executive directors and the non-executive directors. But you can't see this balance within our company. So because of this, it exposes us to governance risk, which appears under your P3 syllabus. So this is an issue which we need to fix. So you have to expect questions concerning this element. And some board members have held academic posts. And as I mentioned earlier, this is good for training, research and development, as well as recruitments. So looking at the board composition, the board responsibilities are properly allocated. The only issue is pertaining to the production director, who is looking into environmental protection, although this individual is not too aware of these elements. He does not come from such a background. And on top of that, it's better to appoint an executive director or non-executive director with sustainability or ESG expertise. Why is this the case? Because as I mentioned earlier, we are trying to achieve sustainability, and this industry is known to be unsustainable. So in such an environment, it's best that we have a separate director who looks into sustainability, or if we ask one of our existing directors to provide leadership to sustainability initiatives. We simply cannot focus our attention towards environmental protection. We have to look beyond environmental protection and consider sustainability. So the probable exam scenarios which can be tested based on this information is with regards to board composition versus corporate governance, how the current board composition impacts our corporate governance, and what type of steps we are supposed to take to improve our corporate governance initiatives, and your knowledge pertaining to board responsibilities or knowledge pertaining to how to restructure a board will be tested at the exam, and appointment of executive and non-executive directors, the pros and cons of appointing an executive or non-executive director to a certain role, and if we are appointing an executive director or non-executive director, how we should go ahead with this process, which committee should look into it, as well as what we need to do with regards to dismissing a director, how we should tackle directors' remuneration, ethics tied to lobbying, how to conduct lobbying in an ethical manner, and how to achieve high levels of ethical behavior by looking into disclosure requirements. So all these things are covered within our mock exams. All right, so let me quickly take you to the risk report. So as you can see, this is the last thing which I'm going to explain in today's session. I've already been jabbering for 1.5 hours now. So looking at the principal risk report, I hope you would have gone through this risk report as at now. So the risk report highlights the impact of 6 different risks which we have identified as yet, and the mitigatory action. So you need to gain a good understanding of whether we have identified all types of risks. So we have identified 6 risks. So you need to have a good understanding of whether we have identified all risks which impact our company. And at the same time, you need to have the ability to understand whether the risk mitigatory action which we have decided to implement within the company are appropriate or not. So with the intention of conducting an in-depth evaluation, with the intention of ensuring that you gain a well-rounded understanding of the risks which we have identified and the suggested mitigatory action, I've come up with a separate set of evaluations which appear towards the right after your risk report. So this does not appear within a typical Preseen document. I've come up with this information and included it within the annotated Preseen. So I mentioned the fact that I'm going to talk about currency risk exposure. So I mentioned the fact that when conducting the Preseen analysis, when taking you through the internal dynamics of your chosen company, I said that we are exposed to a lot of forex risk. So let's try to figure out the type of risk which we have identified, the mitigatory action suggested to manage this risk, and based on this information, I've conducted an assessment as to whether we have implemented successful mitigatory action, and if any enhancements are needed, I've suggested them as well. So we are exposed to a currency risk due to global sales. Rotomyne operates in 6 different countries and sales to customers who are spread across 90 countries, which exposes the company to fluctuations in exchange rates, which can impact revenues and costs considerably. So that's the risk which we have identified. And what type of mitigatory action have we come up with? The company has an in-house treasury team that monitors currency risks and implements strategies to mitigate those risks. So this indicates the fact that our forex risk exposure is managed by the treasury department, which is the correct thing to do. However, there is no indication of the type of action this Treasury Department is supposed to take with the intention of coming up with foolproof mitigatory action. So it's simply mentioned the fact that the Treasury Department is handling matters and they are involved with monitoring currency risks. Just because you monitor currency risks, you are not taking effective steps to prevent your risk exposure. And they are supposed to implement strategies to mitigate those risks. And there's no indication about the type of strategies these individuals are supposed to implement. So based on it, I've conducted an assessment. Having a dedicated treasury team to manage currency risk is a strong internal control. However, relying solely on internal monitoring might not be sufficient to guard against major currency shifts. So just because we monitor currency risks, it won't help us to prevent our risk exposure, especially given the volatility in global markets. We are not only operating in 1 or 2 countries. We are selling to 90 different countries, and our mines are located in 6 different countries. So how can we enhance these mitigatory processes? Rotomyne could further strengthen its risk mitigation by opting for hedging techniques such as currency forwards. There's an indication about these type of forward cash settled lithium contracts within your Preseen itself. The information is a bit confusing, but you need not worry. I've come up with an example as part of and included the same example within this document itself. And if you go through our first Preseen analysis video, in which I've conducted an industry analysis, which appears under the paid content, you will gain an in-depth understanding of how these currency forwards or cash settled futures contracts work. Okay, so we can use it's best for us to update the risk register, thereby highlighting the type of mitigatory action which we should take, rather than simply mentioning the fact that the Treasury Department is supposed to come up with their own mitigatory strategies. Rather than saying that simply we have to mention the type of mitigatory strategies adopted by our company to manage forex risk. So we have to update the risk register. So there could be a question which tests your understanding of what we need to do when updating the risk register. Again, you need not worry. I've covered that within one of our mock exams. So better hedging strategies are currency forwards, options contracts, and currency swaps. And also we can rely on natural hedges as well. Again, covering this element, covering all of these 6 mocks, which all of these 6 risks which we have identified. I've included 6 different questions within the 6 mock exams which we have developed, so that you gain an in-depth understanding of how to manage each type of risk which we have identified. And on top of that, I've included 5 additional risks within our mock exams, with the intention of ensuring that you understand how to manage different types of risks which are tied to this industry. All right, so that's what I wanted to highlight as part of our Preseen analysis. So I'm happy to say that we achieved a 97% pass rate for the SCS exams, which happened in August 2024. And if you want to achieve a similar feat, simply stick to our study plan. Start your preparations right now. If you are planning to sit for the SCS exams, which are happening in Feb, book your place right now and start preparations, because when you book your exam, you will commit to the study plan. And if you do so, you will be in a position to conduct all your preparations across the 6 mock exams, significantly improving your skill set, and at the same time, making sure that you will definitely pass your SCS exam. So stick to our study plan, start your preparations within this week, gain a good understanding of the Preseen, because from next week onwards, you have to start attempting mock exams and conducting revision focused on the weekly mock exam. All right, so I'm moving on to the Q&A. If you have any questions or concerns, you can switch on your mic and talk, or drop us a message via the chat. I'm going to pause the recording. All right, folks. So thank you very much for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. So if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. Where is our website? Yes, go to our website and click on the contact button and drop your message. our admin staff will get in touch with you via email during office hours. And if you want to email us, you can do so via info@study@tcs.com or WhatsApp us on this number. And I invite you to follow us on our social media handles, especially TikTok and YouTube, because the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops are uploaded to our YouTube handle. And via the TikTok handle, you will gain access to a set of videos, which is a good Preseen mind map. So on your way to work on a daily basis, keep watching these TikTok videos over and over so that you keep memorizing what appears within your Preseen document. And I thank you for joining this session, and I actually enjoyed the Q&A session. It's good. It's great that you guys are asking questions, which indicates the fact that you are interested in what you're learning. So I expect to see you guys without fail in our next webinar, which is the most important one, because in it, I'm going to teach you answering and time management techniques, not just teach you. I'm going to take you through one of the mock exams, thereby highlighting how you should master these techniques in a practical sense. So make sure to attend the third webinar, which is happening next Sunday at the same time, 10 GMT, 10 AM UK, without fail. So I expect to see you guys next week. So thank you for joining. Take care.